What is good, YouTube? Man, how is everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday night. It is Tuesday night, man. I was waiting for something to happen, and boom, it freaking happens. Of course, it happens while I'm at work and not on a Sunday, but it is what it is because we're here now. You guys already know how we like to kick these things off, man. Shout out to everybody who's already in the building. If you have not already, hit the like button on your way in. Please do so. But hey, man, let's get a shout out going to everybody in the building already. We got Big in the building, Mr. Raider Nation. Raiders season was popping. Raiders for life. Let's see. Raiders season. Let's see. Bronze passes. I don't even know what that means. OG Raiders says, let's fucking go. Raider Dangerfield in the building was popping. Mex 818 Linnell Raiders for life. My dog Tavio's in the building. Raiders smoke was good. EJ, my other dog, was good. Richard was popping. Sean, my other dog, was good. Paul was popping. Miguel was going on. Terry, straight holy. Ace was good. Blessings, brother. Appreciate that, my brother. Carr to the Saints for a third. It's looking like that's what the reports are adding up to, man. But many things could go on, man. Many things could go on, and I kind of want to talk about that, man. Adrian was popping. Alex was good. Shout out to everyone in the chat. My brother Kenny is in the building as well. Shout out to everyone who's already in the building. Like I said, if you haven't hit the like on the way in, please do so. Hit the dislike. I don't care. Do it. Do something over there on that little like dislike. Do something over there. So shout out to everybody, man. We got Max, Redder, Jimmy, Terry, all pulling up right now. Already almost 100 deep, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up on me so late. But look, as Max Raider says, as a lot of people have been saying, RJ Carr to the Saints. Now, the third round pick, I don't know about the compensation, but check this out, you guys. It's been reported now by multiple different sources. It's all over the media. And if you're a Raider fan, a true one, you have seen that Derek Carr, his wife, have decided to take a flight to New Orleans. With that being said, the New Orleans Saints have granted and invited him for an in-house visit, man. An in-house visit for tomorrow. Now, if we backtrack a bit, we remember a few days ago, Dave Ziegler allowed Carr to seek a trade with the teams that have already agreed to compensation for Derek Carr. This is one of those teams. The Saints have already agreed to compensation for DC. At this point, it is now up to Derek Carr to waive his no trade clause and say, yes, I'm agreeing to go to the Saints. Or he can say no and not agree to go to the Saints. But the compensation has already been agreed upon with the Raiders, with the Saints, all for Derek Carr, man. Very interesting stuff. Now, we know that there's a list, so this could just be him taking his time, doing his homework. But something tells me if he was just looking and he wasn't serious, he wouldn't bring the wife along. He said, you know what, stay home with the kids. But something here is interesting. The compensation has already been agreed upon, and this could mean a lot for the Raiders. As we know, a move for Rodgers cannot be done until DC's contract is off the books because we need to get under the cap space heavily. So shout out to everybody. We got Raider fan. That says hello from, I'm assuming that's South Carolina. Carr flying into New Orleans tomorrow. Shout out to Matt. Everybody in here, man. You think we really got a shot at Rodgers? It's kind of pointing towards that. Now, A little bit to mention about Rodgers. I believe today he was on a podcast, Pat McAfee, McPhee, one of those. And they were saying that he was really like he was dodging all things Raiders. Like he was dodging all this kind of stuff on the podcast with Pat the punter. Pat the punter. There you go. Um, so he was kind of dodging and kind of just trying to go just do regular interview stuff. But I'm not surprised. I really am not surprised. I do think the Raiders have a true shot at Rodgers if Rodgers truly wants to be a Raider. It ends up it's on his shoulders at the end of the day. I was hoping for at least a second for DC. At this point, I don't think so. I did mention in the last live I just did that I honestly think that the compensation for DC, I thought that the most um the most would be a second. That's what I always said. The compensation for DC, I felt like it at most would be a second round pick. It's looking like from what people have been reporting that a third round pick is what could get DC to a new team. Now, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised that a third round pick could be all the DC's going for, right? He does offer stability to whatever team he goes to. He does offer decent play, like they know what they're getting with DC. So there is that sense of security for whatever team does trade for Derek Carr, but it's not like he's going to go above and beyond. He's not going to elevate your roster, right? So a third round pick for a quarterback, a very, very let's see, it's very it's not very surprising to me that a third round pick is all that we may be getting for DC. Let's see. I'm sure it's not allowed. I get it, but you never know. Absolutely. The Saints are negative 57 million in cap space. How could they afford Carr? Well, look, we know that the compensation has already been agreed upon. Who's to say that that compensation is draft capital? What if the Raiders said, you know what? If you want DC, I want another one of your players. Who's to say that that's not a possibility, right? Who's to say that the trade deal between the Raiders and the Saints, if it happens, isn't one like we saw last offseason with you get Yannick, we get Rocky Sin, right? So this regime is all fine with going out and trading player for player. So who's to say that it's just draft capital? Maybe there could be a player in this, right? Maybe there's a player from the Saints involved. And that could help them maybe minimize. And, the Saints always work their magic when it comes to the cap space anyways. But, yes, that is very, very important, extremely important. They are negative 57 million in cap. But at the same time, who's to say that it's just draft capital that could be sent the Raiders' way? On top of that, they know that once you trade DC is not going to rework his contract with us to make his situation more lucrative for the Raiders, but he is gonna rework his contract with the next team he goes to, right? So they could do something like that as well. Funny if his career starts and end with Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen did literally hold us to 0 points. So that's interesting, right? I know, I'm sorry, Kenny, but that's really what we're standing at right now, man. It's like a lot of our future relies on what we get out of this man. So I apologize, my brother. I'm sorry. What do you think about Rodgers and his little dark side getaway? Yeah, I believe he said that he needs like a darkness 4-day getaway with just himself. But we'll see, man. Yes, Alex, exactly. Scott talked about a trade package. Let's wait. Maybe he's a players included. Exactly, bro. Was good. He was popping Edgar. Saints kicked Carr's ass and did not let him cross the 50. And now they want him. Good luck. Well, maybe they think that it was more of a problem on our end than the quarterback. There's a lot of courses around Vegas, and Tay Rodgers was a bit less special without Tay. Interesting. Was good, and he was popping. Damn, only a third. That may be what it is. You can't spell decent without DC. That's about it. Vegas has updated Aaron Rodgers' odds from 150 to 500, so it's a minus. So I believe I saw that if you bet $10, you get 12 back. So the Raiders are pretty high favorites, man. Take a CB or a defensive player off their salary cap. Yeah, absolutely. And there you go. Tonga right here is already on it. Lattimore for Carr. The same way that an expensive contract could be bad for them, it could be bad for us, but on both sides, it could both be reworked, right? Uh, let's say for Tonga's example, right? Um, you know, if we were to take on Lattimore, his contract is pretty shitty right now. Like he's owed a lot of guaranteed cash, but we know that whatever team he goes to, he's going to be able to rework that contract. We spread it around, do a little bit of reworking, and boom, we've now made the contract so much better, right? And I'm gonna be honest, you guys, if it was straight up Marshawn Lattimore for Derek Carr, I would be okay with that. I would 100% be okay with that. What players do you think they would want? Well, there you go. That's one of them. Marshawn Lattimore. They do have Demario Davis, one of the NFL's top linebackers. They have a lot of talent over there. Yes, that's true. That is true. Cap space is a myth. NFL teams will always find a way. Absolutely. Come to the dark side. There you go. If they want DC bad enough, New Orleans will figure out the cap. Yeah, they figured it out every single time. No chance on the Honey Badger. He wants to play at home in New Orleans. He has made that clear last year. Yeah, I don't think that the Raiders organization would even want Honey Badger. We had all off season last year to make that deal work if that's who they wanted. It didn't get done. He went home. So we'll see. Let's see. Carr is still better than any QB they have on the Saints. Yes, Carr elevates their roster because their roster is pretty shitty at the quarterback position. What's up, my guy Orlando? He says Rodgers wants to do that DMT for a week. If Saints won't offer more than a third rounder, they have no choice but to give us a player as well. That is the only way. Otherwise, they'll grant permission to talk to Carolina next. Well, no, it's not the only way. I mean, if Dave Ziegler feels that a third is enough compensation for DC, then that's what it is. So we'll see. I heard earlier that the Saints will only give up a fifth, regardless of what they're giving up, right? It's not up to us at this point. Our general manager, Dave Ziegler, has already agreed to terms with these teams, right? Dave Ziegler gave DC and his squad an opportunity to go seek a trade with only teams that have been in contact with the Raiders and have agreed upon compensation, whether that's draft capital, whether that's a player. Regardless if it's a fifth, the Raiders are going to want to get something instead of outright cutting DC. So, I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what it is, maybe we could say, oh, we could have got this. Oh, man, I wish we would have got that. At the end of the day, we're going to get what we can. Or if we try to push it a little too much, it just may not work at all. Saints going to dominate their division. They just a QB away. Interesting. I do feel like they have holes on that roster, but we'll see. I hope we do trade for a player. I also would like to pick up Ramsey on a trade and also pick up Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner may be cut. You may not have to trade for Bobby Wagner. This could also be motivate other teams to get into trade sweepstakes. May get better compensation from other teams like the Jets or the Panthers. Absolutely, Richard. That is a fact. If the Saints get Carr, they can compete in the NFC and be a factor into the playoffs. Well, then it's a win-win. Would you do Paulson Adebo in a third? I would personally do that deal. Yes. I'll take a Tootsie roll for Carr. He went 4 and out in a flag football game and threw a pick. Yikes, Kenny. You're saying all the shit that people are going to get so mad at. But I absolutely feel the same way. Andy, who is your dream pick at 7? It's not necessarily a dream pick, but somebody that I really feel like needs to be on this Raiders roster is one of 3-ish guys. Four guys. There's 4 guys at the Raiders I feel like absolutely, or I would absolutely want, and it would be a dream, regardless if it's at 7, 38, or whatever the hell they get it. For me, it's Drew Sanders, Thule, Garrett Williams, and Jalen Jones out of Texas A&M. Those 4 players right there are kind of musts, in my opinion. And I think they're all obtainable, or however you want to fucking say it. They're all able to make this team. And if Derek Carr plays for the Saints next season, out of the 8 home games, how many times do you think he'll cross the 50-yard line? Hey, man, if they fucking practice against him the way that they played against us, he may never. 39 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers is just not worth it. Draft a young QB and develop Rodgers. Rodgers is a fruitcake. Henry, I'm halfway on that boat with you, man. I think I don't know about what Aaron Rodgers does in his spare time, but there is a big part of me that is hesitant, and I do think that at a certain point it becomes not worth it to go out and get Aaron Rodgers. So I do agree with most of what you're saying. Trust the GM; he knows what he can get for Carr. They are in a situation where they know something is better than nothing. Facts, my fam. Facts. I try to say facts, my brother, and fam at the same time. I said facts, my fam. There you go. That's a new one. Carr for the Honey Badger. I'll pass. I like the Lattimore for Carr. I think that's a very good trade. I'd rather take a veteran CB or defensive tackle from a team for Carr over draft picks. I don't disagree with that, right? I mean, if you look at the Saints, and if we start fishing, right? Like I said, they got Demario Davis. They have Marshawn Lattimore. You know, they did have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but they traded him away. They got Paulson Adebo. I'm not too sure what they have on the offensive line or defensive line. I'm pretty sure Marcus Davenport is a free agent. And I'm not too sure what's really somebody that I would want to cherry pick. Somebody that I would want to cherry pick from their roster. I ain't said the trade. Oh, Ian. Ian said, where did you see that? Where did you see that, buddy? I would be so happy if the Raiders got Marshawn Lattimore in a fifth for Derek Carr. Oh my God, I would be ecstatic. However you want to say it. I would be over the moon if that was the trade. If that was the trade, holy shit, I would be so mad. I mean, I would be so happy. I'd be so freaking happy if the Raiders pulled that off. Wait, so do you have Garrett and Jalen as your top corners? No, those are just guys that I really, really want the Raiders to go out and get, and I think they're all obtainable. They do have Cam Jordan, but my bad. I do think that those players are obtainable. That's why I think that the Raiders should go out and try and get them. I'm not saying that those are my top corners. Absolutely not. Those are not my top corners. I think that those are guys that have great value in the later rounds that the Raiders need to do their due diligence on, do their homework on. And if they see the same thing that I see, then maybe they should go out and get them. But, yeah. But all of those are reaches besides Sanders. I wasn't talking about at 7. I wasn't talking about at 7. I was talking about in general. A dream scenario for me, that's what it would be. I think the question was a dream scenario or the dream draft pick at 7. In a fantasy land, fucking Jalen Carter falls to 7, right? In a fantasy world. But in the real world, I'd be perfectly fine getting Drew. I would love to get a guy like Thule, second, third round, wherever he's available. And, in the later rounds, Jalen Jones, I think that's his name, and Garrett Williams, Syracuse. I think that those guys are all obtainable in all rounds of the draft that we have picks in. So, yeah. I'm out, Andy. All of these idiots are car nut lickers, and I can't stand it. Peace out, bro. I just appreciate you for pulling in for a little bit of time that you did, brother. Thank you, Kenny. It means a lot for pulling up. But yeah, man, peace out. Hope you have a good rest of your night, my brother. These car comments are killing me. Give me Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan is an option. I wouldn't. It's not somebody that I would cherry pick. But yes, that would be a good option, bro. Tavio, that shit. To me, I'd jump all over that. I would be that would be amazing. Andy was good. It is late, fam. It is late. I'm tired as hell. Andy was good, G. Late, but here had daddy duty. But what you think we get Carr? What if we get to first? We get to first, then. We all give fucking Dave Ziegler a big hug. I've heard that the Rodgers trade can't happen until June 1st. That means the draft commutation until next year. Is this true? No, it's not true. It can happen as soon as it can happen as soon as the Super Bowl's over. It can't happen during halftime, but it can happen the second the Super Bowl's over. it can happen. You don't have to wait until June 1st. And I think if the Raiders did wait until June 1st, I think it would be too late because at that point the Packers would have started some workouts, and I think that you need to trade for Aaron Rodgers before workouts begin, or else you cannot trigger the clauses that make his salary drop to 15 million this year. Um, but yeah, hit the road, Carlos. I'm not Lamar, in my opinion, I'm not too high on the QBs in this draft. To be honest, trade if possible. If not, draft defense. Wait to draft QB until next season. Stick with Stidham. I 100% agree with you. That's the boat that I'm on. That's the boat that I'm on. But at the end of the day, it does seem like Rodgers could be a possibility. So that's why I'm here talking. Lattimore and Hobbs, that would look nice. We would just need one more guy, and I wouldn't be mad if it was Rock. Um, but yeah, dude, if we get Lattimore in a fit, dude, Ziegler's a genius, brother. Yeah, that'd be amazing. I would be so ecstatic if we could. I think that that'd be a great trade. I think that they get a bit bad contract off the books. DC's going to be able to go there and renegotiate his deal, and all they give up is a fifth. I think that would be phenomenal, in my opinion. Right? You got DC on the books for another 2 seasons minimum. Um, I think that that'd be great. It fills a massive need for the Raiders, and we get compensation back. I think that that would be absolutely great. Um, let's see. Watch. Carr's going to go to New Orleans and get Allen fired for the second time, buddy. That'd be hilarious. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is the likelihood of A-Rod being a Raider? I'm going to say a 4, man. I'm going to say a 4. There is that possibility, but as of right now, right, at the end of the day, it's just a few golf tournaments, right, of him, talking to Raider fans and hinting at it, maybe purchasing homes and all this kind of stuff, right? As of right now, we're sitting in the same boat that we sat in when the Packers franchise tagged Devontae, right? Like we're sitting in that same boat. We don't know what's going to happen. We know the possibility is there, and if it happens, we're all going to be pretty damn excited. Like I think a 4 because 4 is just below half, and there is still a good possibility. So yeah. But shout out to my guy Ruben. He says, "How do we get a solid DB squad like Miami?" Miami paid for it, man. Miami definitely paid for it. Byron Jones, they paid for it. Xavier Howard, they drafted. Javon Holland, they drafted. But you gotta pay. You gotta pay, right? We drafted we drafted Nate Hobbs. But Nate Hobbs is no Xavier Howard. We drafted Trayvon Merrick, and he's no Javon Holland. Um, but you could pay. You have the money. They paid Byron Jones when we were also trying to get Byron Jones, and he chose them, not us. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, it's not so easy. But you get what you invest in, honestly, right? We've been able to hit on a guy like Nate Hobbs, but if you really think about it, bro, we would have nothing to show for if Nate Hobbs wasn't who he is. Lattimore rumors only coming from Raiders fans. Nothing there on that possibility. No, yeah, absolutely, Brian. We're just here trying to speculate, right? Because it is a trade package. Who's to say that it's just draft capital? Who's to say that there's not a player in there? We're just talking about potential players that maybe the Raiders would be interested in. Maybe Ziegler's asked about, stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see. But you're right. Saints cap is the worst in the NFL. -60. Wouldn't surprise me if the Saints are offering a players over pick. Going to be interesting to find out what they offered. Absolutely, buddy. 100%. Getting Lattimore is unlikely, but it would right the past draft wrongs. It would right the past couple of them. Not honestly. Andy, your gut feeling, does a deal get done by tomorrow, or will Carr wait? A deal won't get done tomorrow. No, I don't think a deal gets done tomorrow. If a deal happens tomorrow, that'd be insane. That'd be absolutely insane. I don't think the deal will happen tomorrow. I think that DC's gonna take his time. He's gonna take his time. But he can't take too much time because we got 3 days after the Super Bowl and his time's up. So yeah, we're in that area, man. We're in that area where it's very, very close, very, very close to happen. Cesar says, I believe Rodgers won't come. He wants to win now, not happening here. That being said, why invest in a guy that is seriously contemplating retirement. He won't make it through one Raider season. Yeah, man, I've thought about all these things. I've thought about all these things. Yeah, I was 5 because it was 50-50, but would be nice to have would be nice to not have the worst QB in the division. We would have the second best QB in the division. Yeah. If Rodgers stays in Green Bay, we have to draft a top QB. Jimmy G would be unacceptable, 100%. Do you think that Jacobs threatens to sit out if he gets franchised? Well, here's the thing. If Jacobs gets franchised and he decides to sit out, I mean, running backs only have so long. Teams are only going to invest in running backs so many times. I don't think that benefits him because if he doesn't sign the franchise tag, he's not under the NFL's league rules. He's not allowed to negotiate with another team. And if he doesn't sign the contract, the franchise tag, then he has to sit out a year. So there's that, right? I think that the best option is to franchise tag him and to extend upon his franchise tag. I think that's what you should do instead of just franchise tagging him and making him stay for a year under the tag. I don't think he wants that, and I don't think it's the best option for the Raiders. I think that you franchise tag him. He plays for $10.1 million this year, and then you guarantee like $15 million next season. That's what I think. Because he's gonna play, he's gonna get his 10.1 this year. So $25 million over the course of this season and next season. I think there's no way that fucking Josh turns that down. There's no after the Le'Veon Bells, after the Ezekiel Elliott's, no team is gonna make the mistake of paying $16 million for a running back. No team. I was shocked. Derrick Henry has 2,000 yards, and they decide to pay Ryan Tannehill before him. No team is going to prioritize a running back to the point where it's going to make Jacobs say, you know what, I'm going to sit out a year. I don't think it's going to work. So, yeah. Yeah, Saints were over the cap $80 million last season and still signed players. Yeah, they did a good job. Do you think we lose 7 for any Rodgers trade? I think that it's a possibility, and I think that if that's what you have to give up for Aaron Rodgers, you don't do it. Simple. Yeah. If Aaron Rodgers comes to the Raiders, that's because he's going to play 3-4 years on that. 3-4 years. Come on, that dude's a fucking Carr fan. Get off the nuts already. He's gone. I like him too, but first, I'm a Raider fan, I think is what he was trying to say. Listen to all the negative ones. Many hope the Raiders get worse. That shit is amazing. Yeah, for sure. It is weird. Yeah. If we don't get Aaron Rodgers to stay that year, then go, or will he stay through his contract? Look, man. Tay has said that he's going to stay here. He's also said that, yes, DC is the reason why he's here, but Devontae wanted to be a Raider long before DC was a Raider. This was always his dream destination with or without DC. He's going to be a Raider with or without DC, with or without Aaron Rodgers. He left Aaron Rodgers once. I don't think he's not okay with not playing with Aaron Rodgers. Like, Tay will be here. I don't think that if you don't have DC or you don't have Aaron Rodgers, you're not going to have Tay. No, it's not how it works. Not how it works. Simple. And yeah, as Rodgers can win here, we have way more talent on offense. And can fix the offensive line and free agents. Then draft a shit ton of defense. How much defense can you draft if you don't have many draft picks because of the Aaron Rodgers trade? If it is to cost a high amount. That's why I don't think that it makes sense for us to trade for Rodgers if it costs any more than a first. And the first needs to be next year, not this year. So, yeah. What up, Andy? My guy, Rodgers and all defense. There you go. If that's your plan, then, or if that's their plan, then we should execute that at a high level. Josh won't get more than 12 a year. I agree. That's a great contract, Andy, for both sides. He gets his money no matter what, and the Raiders keep – yeah, exactly. He still got paid from the Jets, didn't he? That's all he wanted. Yeah, he got paid from the Jets, and then everybody knows him as this scrub that ended up getting his ass knocked out in boxing. Like, yeah, you know, if you want to go out on your own terms and you go out like a punk, or he didn't go out like a punk. I'm be honest, he went out as a millionaire. But yeah, I don't think that that's even what. Looking back on it, I don't even think Le'Veon wanted that for himself. Now that he said it, Andy Huygen, Levis or CJ? I think the best one out the two is CJ. I'm not a big fan of Levis, if I'm being honest with you. You got to understand, we've been in the rebuild for 20 years now, with ready to win now. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if you could honestly say that, if I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah. Anyway, you be on with Docs and the other guys Friday night? Yes, I will, as long as it's like at like 8 o'clock West Coast. 8 o'clock West Coast and like 10 Central, 11 East Coast time. Yeah, I'll be on there. Andy, we need to get you a job with the Raiders. Hey man, let's make it happen. Vic Sacramento, he's not coming, buddy. He wants to retire already. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. Not gonna. We can't force him. Rogers will cost too much draft capital. Green Bay is really motivated to move on from that contract for sure. Rogers could probably be had for a third round pick. Interesting. If that's the case, then I think you do it. I think that if that's the case, then it makes sense. Yeah, but we get picks from Carr, use them on Rogers, draft 90% defense, fix the O line and free agency. Sure, sounds like a great plan. Sounds like a great plan. Let's hope it happens. Um, I said it's people in the fan base that want to see the Raiders get worse, not me. Yeah. I'd rather have CJ hands down over Levis. Absolutely. I think Levis goes to the Colts and Stroud falls to 7. That'd be interesting. McDaniels needs to go. Hey, what you doing? This dog over here licking shoes and shit. McDaniels needs to go. I think that we should give the man a year, another year. We gave DC 9. I think we should give McDaniels another season. Andy, what do you truly feel would happen at the QB position? I've expressed my opinions on the quarterback spot, man. I think that it makes a lot of sense. Hey, ooh, this dog is about to get in trouble, man. I've expressed my feelings on the quarterback position. I feel like it makes sense for the Raiders to re-sign Stidham. It makes sense to invest in a young QB in the draft, and absolutely load your defense. That's to me, that's what makes the most sense. Now, Aaron Rodgers to me makes sense if it doesn't cost anything more than next year's first. It doesn't make sense if it costs this year's first. It doesn't make sense if it costs this year's second. In my opinion, that's what I think. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Uh, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers in the silver and black, but for me, has to be at the right price, to the point where it still allows us to really build with youth on the defensive side of the ball, where we can have cheap contracts on the defense side of the ball, and then make a roster that is a quarterback away. I don't think that you could skip and neglect the rest of the roster trying to go and get a quarterback. It doesn't work like that. To me, like I said, I've said this all the time. One of the main reasons why the Jacksonville Jaguars made the freaking playoffs this year, everybody laughed at them. They went heavy on defense, free agency, and offense, but they went heavy on defense. In the draft, they went heavy on defense. They had a guy on a rookie contract that didn't perform well his first season. They invested around him. He elevated his game. They elevated their game. They went to the playoffs. I don't think that could be done if you don't have a first or second round pick this year, personally. But if there's people, if it's hard, man. It's hard. I think that if you get Aaron Rodgers, he elevates your roster, right? So you can have certain holes on the team because he'll make up for it. But I don't know, man. It's a tough situation. It is a tough situation. But look, man, I only wanted to be on here for about half an hour. talk about the situation that just went down today. I appreciate every single one of you guys for pulling up. We had like 220 of you guys in the building. I hope all you guys enjoyed Tuesday night, late live. I know it's almost midnight on the East Coast, so I appreciate all you guys for pulling up today. I'm going to get some rest. You guys will see me 100% tomorrow at some point. At some point, you guys will see me. So, on your way out, you guys, please hit that notification bell so you do not miss when I go live or you do not miss when I drop a video. All that good stuff. So, yes, on the way out, man. I love y'all. Stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of your night. And I'm out, you guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Death Star, where our opponent's dreams come to die.